Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to be here with you today to create 3 Winterly Tree Tops projects. Now, I hope you all had an amazing weekend. It was quite windy here in Rhode Island. So windy that our patio furniture slid across our deck, and it is not light patio furniture. It's all heavy metal, and it was just so crazy windy. So I'm happy today has calmed down a little bit. And I'm excited to be here with you in the craft room today to craft along with you. Now let me just make sure that I am live here over on Facebook. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It looks like I am live. Hello, Carol. Hello, Mom. Thanks for watching. I'm also live over on YouTube. So if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure to comment, say hi, and let me know that you were able to watch this week. Let's see, last week I celebrated my 14th anniversary as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I did a little Facebook post, but I just wanted to reach out to everybody here and say thank you so much for supporting me for these last 14 years. I cannot believe that it has been 14 years since I signed up to be a demonstrator. I've shared my story a little bit here, but I'll just do a quick little snippet of why I became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I was living in Missouri at the time at Whiteman Air Force Base, and it is literally in the middle of nowhere. The closest craft store was over an hour away, and so I worked full time, and so I was spending my weekends driving to the city to be able to find scrapbooking supplies that would coordinate with each other. So not only was I wasting my time, a lot of those supplies didn't coordinate because they were from different companies, and just trying to find items that worked with each other would take a lot of time. So I attended a crafting event held by another military spouse, and I loved the Stampin' Up! Products that I could get them right to my door, and I didn't have to drive an hour each way to waste my time every weekend. So I had no intentions of teaching classes and hosting events. I wanted to purchase the supplies for myself at a discount. And then when that demonstrator moved, she asked me to take over her crafting classes that she was teaching. So from there, it blossomed into a crafting business, and I am just, it's totally different than I thought it was going to be. But in the long run, I am having a great time. I'm not going anywhere. And I just want to say thank you for the last 14 years. I couldn't have done it without your support. I couldn't have done it without Mr. Stampin' Blondie's support. And I thank you all, and I'm so excited to continue to craft with you for the next 14 years. So my 14-year stamp-iversary was last week, and I cannot say thank you enough for all the support. All right, so today we are gonna create 3 projects featuring, like I mentioned, the Winterly Tree Tops bundle. This bundle is from the mini catalog, and I loved it. It's great because it's not a holiday themed bundle. It's winter themed, and so you can use this throughout the season. It just isn't just Christmas themed or holiday themed, so you don't have that short amount of time to use it. You can definitely use it throughout the entire winter. So that's what caught my eye on it. So I just have one quick announcement before we jump into our projects here. So let's go ahead and swap the camera and get started here today. So, we can move that out of the way. Now, speaking of the Winterly Tree Tops bundle, my December Club Craft and Create registration is now open for this event, and we are featuring the Winterly Tree Tops bundle. So if you love the projects that I'll be creating here tonight and you want to create more, there is the option for Club Craft and Create. So what is Club Craft and Create? You get supplies to create 8 cards 4 different designs to each of those different designs. You'll receive a full color project PDF tutorial with step-by-step on how to put together all of the projects, as well as a private link to a tutorial video on on YouTube that is a great way for you to create the projects at your own pace. So you can stop the video, work on that step, and then continue along with me. So you will receive, like I mentioned, the 4 card projects. You get 2 each of those cards. You get a half a pack of the designer series paper that I'm featuring here tonight, as well as a full roll of the linen thread and the new Riverside Irregular Pearls. These are an online exclusive item, and I'm going to be featuring them on my projects here tonight as well. So I'm not going to show you the full cards. I'm just going to do like a little, oh, you get to see the top one, but just a little sneak peek of the projects. Now, there are no stamped images in this kit. I'm not allowed to per Stampin' Up! Rules. So you can add on this bundle to your class, and or if you already have it, you can recreate it with what you already have in your craft supply. Deadline to register for this is December 8th, so you have you have 2 weeks, 2 weeks and like 1 day, less than a day, to sign up for this. And there is a link in the description of this video with all the details on what Club Craft and Create entails and what you get for this class kit. So I really liked that we've moved on from holiday projects. So we've completed Holiday Club Craft and Create, and now we're moving on to some winter projects. Okay, before I jump into our cards here today, we're gonna do Prize Patrol. So each week I do something called Prize Patrol, and all you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and you're entered into Prize Patrol. Now, last week, because I was working on some holiday projects, this is the Sweetest Christmas Designer Series paper, so you get a lot of pages of designer series paper for your holiday crafting. And the winner from last week is Anne Gepfert. So congratulations, Anne. You are the Prize Patrol winner from last week. Like I mentioned, all she had to do was share this video and comment that she shared, and she was entered into Prize Patrol. Now this week, like I said, I'm kind of moving on from Christmas. We've done some Christmas projects and crafts and stuff already. There will be another Christmas Makers Monday. I always do my annual Stuff Your Stocking Facebook Live, so we will still be doing that. But mainly I've kind of moved on from Christmas projects. But this week's Prize Patrol is a package of the Summer Splash cardstock. Now this is a really pretty like teal kind of color. So while it's not technically Christmas, you could use this for winter crafting with some blues and purples mixed together to do some really pretty winter themed projects. So Summer Splash, even though it says summer, you could still use it for winter crafting, is your Prize Patrol for this week. Share the video, comment that you shared, and you'll be entered to win this week's Prize Patrol. All right. So I mentioned earlier, I should have showed it, but Winterly Treetops. This is the bundle that we're going to be using today. The bundle comes with, it's a set of 7 cling mount stamps. So your traditional red rubber with coordinating dies. Now some of the dies are extra. They cut out images from the stamp set, but also extra dies. Again, if you follow along with me, you know that I love stamp sets that have images and sentiments combined in one set so that you don't have to pull anything else from your craft supply. But this is found in our, let me grab it here. This is found in our mini catalog. It's on page 30 and 31. It has a whole 2-page spread. This is called the Nest of Winter Sweet Collection. Now, there are some items here that I won't be using on our projects today. I won't be using the thread or the, what are these called? The gems, because I'm using different supplies. But I used the birch embossing folder on my project yesterday that I shared. So let me grab that. So here's the project that I shared yesterday. Now, a little tidbit about, oh, sorry, I'm using the birch on one of the projects. I'm using this die. This is the die that I used that I'm not using today. So here's the die. This die, a little kind of tidbit about it. When you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it does not cut the outside of your die. So you either want to cut your paper to the size that you want it before you run it through the die cut machine, or you can trim it down afterwards. So it does not have around the edge, it does not have the die cut part. It just cuts the inside out of it, and then you can trim your paper down. So this is that, but I did want to share the embossing folder. Even though I've already pre-embossed my items for tonight, I wanted to show you the size of this embossing folder. So this is one of the big embossing folders that we have. It's called the Birchwood folder. Normally our embossing folders are probably like this tall and this wide, just about the size of a card. So here you can see how big they are. This is great because if you are into die cutting stuff for a lot of projects or embossing, you can get 2 sheets and run it through the machine all at the same time. So that is the Birchwood embossing folder. It doesn't tell you in the catalog if it's one of these giant folders or not. So I wanted to give a little PSA about that. Now the 3 cards that we're gonna create here today are these. So here is one of our cards. This is Petal Pink and Pebbled Path. Lots of P's there. But we will be coloring in these birds and die cutting them out. This one, the bird will be die cut from the Designer Series paper. So you can see that even if you are not very good at coloring, you can just die cut the bird straight from the paper and you don't have to worry about coloring that one. And then this one I wanted to focus mainly on the Designer Series paper. So no die cutting of the birds on here, but I just wanted to highlight how you could still create this project without having to die cut or color in any of the birds. Now, each week I offer these projects as a class kit to go. So here is what the card kit would look like. It comes with all of the cardstock and Designer Series paper for the 3 projects that you see here tonight. No stamped images are included in this because of Stampin' Up! Rules, but you can place an order of $35 on my website by, because Thanksgiving's on Thursday, I pushed it to Friday night at midnight. Place an order on my website, no host code needed, and I will send you these projects for free. You can choose the Winterly Treetops bundle if you would like. If you do, why not sign up for December Club Craft and Create, and then you can create even more of these Winterly Treetop projects. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna work on that Petal Pink and Pebbled Path card. Now, don't forget, also on my website each week, stampinblondie.com, I have this project PDF here for you. Has all of the item names, numbers, and prices of the supplies that I'm using for each project. And don't forget, there is a backside there as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we have our, let's move those over there. We've got our Petal Pink cardstock card base. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're just going to crisp up our line here. I have a piece of Pebbled Path cardstock. This is just like a 3/4 inch piece by 5.5, and we're gonna add this little strip here. I did not add a full piece of Pebbled Path because you're not gonna see it. So why waste all that cardstock if you're not gonna see the whole part of it? So just a little strip, a great way to use some scraps up there. So we're gonna add this down to our card base first. Let's see, there we go. And I'm using my liquid glue for this part because I want to make sure that it's on there straight and right where I want it, and it gives me a little time to kind of shift and shimmy that to right where I want it.
Now we have a piece of that Designer Series cardstock. I pulled my colors for this card from the cardstock. So you can see it kind of has that pink tone to it. It has Pebbled Path in it. So I really wanted to highlight those colors on this card and bring out the colors there. So we're gonna glue this now to our card base, again with liquid glue, so we have a little time to line it up right where we want it. And I like to turn it sideways just to make sure everything is lined up how I want it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I've already pre-die cut a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. This is from the Nested Essentials dies, and we are going to stamp our sentiment first before we add this down to our card base. So let's go ahead and grab our little basket of goodies over here. I'm using some colors that you wouldn't really think of for winter. Pebbled Path is going to be our sentiment color here today, and we are going to be stamping that. It says sending thanks and much love, and this is going to be stamped. I may go off camera, but I just want to make sure I line this up right. It's going to be stamped towards the lower portion of that die cut piece there, and we can move that off to the side. Now we can add this down to our card. We're going to add it with Stampin' Dimensionals. It's not a Stampin' Blondie card without some Stampin' Dimensionals. Love these things. And don't forget to use these outside pieces because some of them are really great sizes for middle pieces. Where do I get the thing that holds my glue? So this is a 3D printed glue holder. I got that at the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo in Mesa, but if you missed that or you don't live anywhere in Arizona, they sell them on Etsy. So you can go to Etsy, look up multi-purpose liquid glue holders, and they sell a variety of colors and shapes. I have another one, another pink one, and this one's kind of longer, so it's a different shape too. But they're 3D printed and they just hold your glue, so it's always at the ready. I really love it. Okay, we're gonna move this off to the side and we're gonna work on our birds here. I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and we're gonna bring in our tuxedo black ink because we're gonna do some coloring in with Stampin' Blends. So we're gonna ink up the birds first here. And because this is a larger stamp, I like to ink it up upside down just to make sure everything is on there. And we're just gonna stamp it on a piece of basic white. Okay. Now we are gonna take our Stampin' Blends. I'm gonna bring in a piece of grid paper because you always wanna make sure your workspace is covered. And for this one, I have no idea if there's birds that are this color, but I chose Petal Pink and Daffodil Delight to color in the birds. The branch is gonna be dark crumb cake and then real red for the holly berries. So we're gonna start with the branch. So we've got dark crumb cake here. If you guys hear little like tapping noises from upstairs, I shared on my page. We got a new puppy 3 weeks ago. His name is Beans, and so I showed a picture of him. You can see what he looks like, but he's probably up there. He's obsessed with stuffed toys and tennis balls. So my husband may be like playing with him because I feel like every night around this time he gets like a burst of energy. Okay, for the top of the birds, we're gonna take the dark Petal Pink marker. You wanna use the dark Petal Pink because the light Petal Pink marker is very, very light. It's so light, I rarely ever use it. I think I've used it maybe for like a skin tone color before. That's how light it really is. So I don't like to use the light Petal Pink really for coloring, so dark Petal Pink it is. We're just coloring in the birds. Like I said, I don't know if there's birds that are this color, but I wanted it to match my project, so for me, there's birds this color. The beak we're gonna do in dark Daffodil Delight. So the dark is the beaks, and then on the body, the like fur area, we're gonna do light Daffodil Delight. And all I'm doing is just following the lines on the image to color in some area here. So even if you are not the best color person, just follow the lines and it should work out. Looks like that bird is a titmouse. I hope that's how you pronounce that. I will take your word for that. Hopefully, maybe there is a bird that is this color and I thought I just made it up and it's actually a real thing. The designer series paper for this image, it's blue, and I really wanted to use the pink paper. So I was like, I'm just gonna swap it out for blue or for pink and make it work. So I think it looks really pretty, even if this is possibly not a real coloring of a bird. All right, super simple. So now we have our bird colored in. You can see, oh, let's get it in view. You can see how easy that was just to color that in there. Now we're gonna die cut this out because we spent all this time coloring it, so we really wanna make sure that it's die cut to get the best image. Now there is a die that works perfect for this, and because you spent all that time coloring, you definitely wanna make sure that you use some washi tape to hold the die into place. So I have my washi tape there and there, and get that out of the way. And now we're gonna run this through the die cut machine. I'm just gonna trim this down so I can use my mini machine. All of these dies do fit in the mini machine, so that's what we're gonna use today. I don't like to get out my big machine unless I have to. It's really heavy and, you know, especially doing videos, like lifting it back and forth. So I really just like to use the mini machine as much as I can. All right, through, and we've got our die cut birds. Now when you lift off that washi tape, you just want to be careful. You don't want to rip your image. And there you go. Really beautiful image. I will tell you, I'm not like a bird person, but this, like, I don't know, because it's winter and it really just drew me in with how much you can use this for more than just right now crafting. It's like a whole long-term thing. And the sentiments were really good too. Sending thanks and much love, thinking of you always, and a friend like you brings me happiness. So really good sentiments too. We're gonna add Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of these guys. And oh, let's add one more here. This little small one right there. And this is gonna go onto that die cut piece with our sentiment. So there, it'll hang off the edge, so that's okay. We're going to add a piece of white baker's twine. This is from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. It comes in white, black, vanilla, crumb cake, and basic gray. So you get a variety of colors of baker's twine. And I'm gonna take 2 pieces and tie it into a bow. This and linen thread are my 2 go-tos when I don't have anything that like coordinates, like the colors. If I don't have any ribbon that is not the same color as the project I'm working on, linen thread and baker's twine are my go-tos. Hello, Barb in Tucson. I hope you had a great weekend. There we go. And we're just going to, oh, I pulled that one too far. and we're going to trim off all 4 tails at the same time. There we go. We're gonna put this on with a mini glue dot. Because this is such a small thread here, you definitely want to use a mini glue dot. And that's gonna go right there below our sentiment. And then we're gonna use, like I mentioned, these are the new Riverside irregular pearls. They come in 3 different colors. You have your traditional like iridescent pearl color, more of a kind of muted pearl, and then like a blue pearl. So you can kind of see the different colors. They come in 2 different sizes, and they're an online exclusive item, so you won't find them in any of our catalogs. They're just housed exclusively online, and they are available right now. So I'm gonna add 2 of the small white iridescent pearls there, and that is our first card today, featuring the Winterly Treetops bundle. I really love this card. Perfect, you can use this card all year round, and it's always good to have thank you cards on hand. They're always a good thing to have in a pinch when you need one. You never know when you're gonna need a thank you card. So I hope you guys like that one. All right, our second card here. So I showed you the stamp that we colored in with Stampin' Blends. Now I'm gonna show you the designer series paper. So we're gonna create this project here. Very simple, so if you are more of a beginner crafter, this is a great project for you. So for this one, we have a piece of gray granite cardstock. Gray granite is my preferred gray. If you've ever heard the term graige, it is a mixture of gray and beige, so it is a gray with a beigey tone to it. That's what gray granite is. I like it because it goes with a lot of colors like crumb cake. It works really well with crumb cake. So I love gray granite, and that's my preferred gray here. We're also mixing it with just regular basic gray. So we've got our gray granite and basic gray. We got a piece of the designer series paper. Here's the back side. Does that look familiar? The last project we used. We're just using the other side now. So we're gonna add this on with our glue, and that's gonna go right in the middle of our piece of basic gray. So this, the basic gray is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then your designer series paper is 3 by 4. Very easy dimensions. We are gonna do some of our own background stamping. I didn't see, you can see the difference here of how plain this looks, and I wanted to add something to the background to give it a little bit of pizzazz. So we're gonna do some tone on tone stamping. Gray granite cardstock, gray granite ink, and we're gonna use this little branch from the set. I'm gonna bring back in my grid paper because we're gonna do some stamping and it may get on my workspace. So you just wanna cover it up here. And I just re-inked this, so it's pretty juicy. So I'm just gonna do some light taps, and all we're gonna do is stamp around the outside. All I'm doing is twisting my stamp back and forth to get different directions as I go down. I'm not gonna stamp anything in the middle because you're not gonna see it, so no need to stamp it. Just around the outside here. And one right there. Quick and easy. So anybody can do stamping around the outside. Very simple for that part. Okay. Now we're gonna add on our piece of designer series paper that we've already put on our basic gray cardstock. That's gonna go on with dimensionals. Again, anybody can use dimensionals, so very simple for all skill levels. There we go. And because this is a little bit of a larger piece of cardstock, I'm going to put one in the middle just so it doesn't sag in the middle. Okay. And there we go, right there. Okay, our sentiment, we've got another piece of basic gray cardstock. Again, we are gonna stamp this. Oh, I'm gonna use black ink for that one. I thought I'd use petal, what did I use? Yeah, black. We're gonna use black ink, and this sentiment says, thinking of you always. Again, another card to have on hand. You never know when you need one of those. So we're just gonna ink this up and stamp it right in the middle. There we go. This is just gonna go on with some regular adhesive, and you don't want to add glue to the whole thing because if you add glue to the end and then accidentally get stuck to your card, then your sentiment is stuck to the bottom. So just a little bit of glue on the middle and you're good to go. So we are gonna take, let's grab this. This is that designer series paper that I was talking about. The one that had the birds that were blue, and my last project, all I did was change the blue to pink to make it match my project. We are gonna use this little image right here, and I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut it out so I don't waste any of the designer series paper. Look at all the cards you can make with just this one sheet, and you get 2 of these sheets in each pack. And there's a die to fit this guy. So we're gonna grab that here. And again, we're gonna add washi tape to this because I don't want it to move around on me as I run it through the die cut machine. So there we go. And add that. And now we can bring in our mini machine and our plates and run it through. So there's a way to color this guy in. There is a matching stamp to go with it, so you could stamp it in and color it in, then die cut it, but why die cut it? Or why color it when you can just die cut it and then it's all ready to go. So we've got our little bird here. And this I'm gonna add on with dimensionals too. And he's so small, you just really need 1 dimensional for that. That's gonna go right above our sentiment. And, oh, I put him on crooked. Should probably put him on straight. Here we go. And we're gonna add 2 of the Riverside Irregular Pearls. I'm gonna use this like middle one that's kind of like a darker pearl color, and I'm gonna do 2 of the small ones, and we're gonna do 1 on that side and 1 here. And that is our second project today, featuring the Winterly Treetops bundle. Again, I said this is a perfect card for a beginner crafter because it's very simple to put together, but it looks like it took a lot of time. It looks like you actually colored that in. So a very great card for a beginner crafter. And that is our second project today. I hope you guys like this one as well. All right, now our last project today focuses just on that designer series paper. So we have a piece of copper clay cardstock, and I've already, like I mentioned earlier, I pre-embossed with that Birchwood embossing folder another piece of copper clay. I chose to pre-emboss it because that embossing folder does not fit in the mini machine, and again, I didn't want to lug out the big machine if everything else fit in the mini machine. So I already pre-embossed it just to save some time and save my shoulder as well from lifting that thing onto the table. Okay, our bone folder is going to be here to crisp up our line, and we're going to take our liquid glue. Now when you use embossing folders and you're doing a background piece like this, you definitely want to use liquid glue because it gets into those creases and crevices of that embossed piece of paper, and it really helps it stick down to the card base a lot easier. I have 3 pieces of designer series paper, and before I glue them down, all I'm going to do is line them up on my paper first, because I just want to make sure that my spacing is right and how I want it to be before I glue anything down. And now I'm going to take my bottom piece here. Again, because we're gluing onto embossed paper, you want to use that liquid glue. And it also helps you give a few seconds to put the paper where you want it. I'm a bird nerd, so I'm really loving these. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you like these projects. Like I said, I was a little hesitant at first with the birds. Oh, I should probably put that on right side up. I was a little hesitant at first with it because I normally don't, birds crafting aren't really my thing, but lately I've been going out of my comfort zone. Last week I did flowers, which I really don't do flower projects. This week we're working on some birds. Who knows what next week will bring. So we've got our last strip of designer series paper here. And I've pre-die cut a piece of basic white cardstock. This is the Spotlight on Nature's dies. You can see it has these really fun little embossed lines around the outside of it. So we're gonna stamp our sentiment in copper clay ink. And this is the same sentiment from our first project. So we're gonna grab our Stampin' Scrub. I've already sprayed this side with my Stampin' Mist and then clean that off. And always want to make sure you clean off your stamps after you're done using them, after you are finished with a certain color and you want to swap out. You definitely want to clean off your stamps. Okay, I have stamped my sentiment. Now it is a little on the top part, if I can grab it here. It's towards the top of the circle. It's not right in the middle because we're gonna add our ribbon underneath our sentiment. So our ribbon here, because this paper has shaded spruce, in here we have the shaded spruce satin ribbon. This, if you were in Holiday Club Craft and Create, you got a roll of this in one of your kits. We're gonna add on our sentiment piece first with Stampin' Dimensionals. Hello, Melissa Mitchell. It's okay if you're not on time. It's all right. It is recorded, so you can always catch up later. So glad to have you here though. And we're gonna add this to the right side of our card. We're gonna take that ribbon and tie it into a bow. This ribbon's really easy to tie into a bow because it's like that satiny, so it just slides right through basically. There we go. And then you're gonna kind of pull it through here. And I don't like the way that looks, so we're just gonna zhuzh it up a little bit, make it look good. And then when you've got it, you pull it tight, and then you wanna cut this one at an angle so it doesn't fray. Oh, there we go. Because this is got a little bit of mesh to the ribbon, you definitely want to use a glue dot with it. If you were to use like liquid glue, it would just kind of ooze out the side of it, even if you're really light-handed. So mini glue dot's the best way to add this ribbon on, and that's gonna go right below our sentiment. And we're gonna come in with our pearls. We're gonna add 2 of the large white ones. And the best part about these pearls, I'm not showing this technique, but these white colored ones, you can color in with Stampin' Blends to make them match whatever project you have. And there is our third project today, featuring the Winterly Tree Tops bundle. Quick, easy, this is a great one to get rid of lots of scraps. If you have little pieces of designer series paper around, this is a great one because you can easily knock out a lot of cards with this layout. All right, well, I'm gonna bring in all 3 projects and you can let me know which one is your favorite today. We have our copper clay card. That's quite the mouthful, copper clay card. We have our gray granite and then our petal pink bird. So let me know which one is your favorite that we created here together today. I think my favorite is, it's a tie between these two. I love pink, but I really like the simplicity of the gray granite card. It's very fun, very easy to put together as well. So let me know which one is your favorite here today. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for the last Makers Monday of November. I think it is. I think it's the last Makers Monday. I think next week is gonna be December already. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just a reminder, you can get these projects as a class kit to go with an order on my website by Friday evening at midnight. And if you are really wanting to create more projects, don't forget December Club Craft and Create is with this same bundle, so you can create even more winterly treetop projects. I look forward to seeing you next week, and until then, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will